beautiful biscuits. How are you doing? I thought I'd pop on here because I was just filming a Patreon video, but I got asked this question and I want to answer it. So, let me get this question right. Okay. If my schedule were totally open, would I rather homestead or sell everything in digital nomad? So I feel like, biscuits, this totally depends on where you are in your life. So we've been getting into our homesteading. There's not a good word for it, like urban homesteading, I guess. We aren't, we aren't building a barn and getting a milk cow or anything, but trying to be more self-sustaining in the sense that we know where our food supply is coming from. I'm teaching my kids how to really raise fruits and vegetables, how to take care of little chickens and things. And so I would call it more like urban homesteading. It's probably suburban urban homesteading is probably more descriptive of it, but there's not a good term for that I have heard. So I think it depends where you are in your life and what brings you joy. So I think it's really tempting to just sell all your worldly belongings and go van life it or go digital nomad it and travel around, because I think my generation of millennials likes that because it feels less stressful than the adulting that is involved of homesteading and living and paying all your bills and having a plan for the next 40 years to retirement or whatever, right? That I think that can really overwhelm millennials because, I don't know, maybe nobody ever taught millennials that. I feel like I can't speak for all millennials because I was an unschooled little hippy-dippy child, and so I don't know what the average millennial might have experienced. But I definitely see in our generation, like my sister is very happy just to nomad around, and she works temp jobs all over and travels the world and lives in different places, and this brings her great fulfillment and joy because it's exciting, it's adventurous, and I think there seems to be almost this trepidation of the idea of settling down, which is what, like, the homestead is the ultimate settling down. I think it depends on your temperament. I am probably too much of a nomad wanderer to ever like full-on hardcore homestead. I know some ladies that homestead in the middle of nowhere. They never leave their area, and they're totally content to do that. I probably have a bit too much wanderlust for that, which is why, as much as I would love a Highland cow, because I want a pet Highland cow so bad, I don't think realistically I'm probably going to buy one anytime soon, because I love to adventure and I love to have, it's part of my homeschool mama heart is we love to not be bound by routines or schedules too much within reason. We like to have a little spontaneity in life, and homesteading definitely lessens your ability to do spontaneous fun adventures. We finally got a couple chickens, just a few chickens, and that was because, one, I had established that I had backup people to take care of the chickens and a setup where it was really easy for them to do that, and it's taken us months to find reliable things where we found person to watch them if we want a spontaneous adventure and backup people to take care of them if need be, because that was really our hang-up point, was like, we gotta have backup care for them, and then a system set up that really worked. And it was kind of spontaneous, like we happened upon these chickens that I didn't think were going to be available, and so we just grabbed a couple, and it's been great fun. But anything that takes a lot of work, like we wanted to get ducks this year, and I really couldn't figure it out because they take twice daily maintenance, make sure they have water and all that stuff, and so it depends on your temperament. Like, do you want to be bound to your homestead, or do you want to sell everything and go on adventure? And I feel like for me, I am very much the way I live my life is that middle path of not going to either extreme. Extremes just seem, even though it's fun, I have an artistic personality, it's like, oh, let's have extreme feelings. Really, that doesn't lead to happiness, right, and contentment. So I like to just go on the middle path where, like, we garden, we have a fruit orchard, we have our chicken eggs, I make our own food from scratch as much as I can, but sometimes we go to the store and buy things. I buy milk, I buy canned whipped cream in a spray bottle because it's so handy. And I'm okay with that. Like, it doesn't have to be an extreme, off-grid, survivalist experience for us. We have played around with off-grid living because I run my little glamping business, which is a very tiny little business, but it is off-grid glamping, so we've had to figure out, all of the issues of how do people wash themselves, how do people charge their phones, is there a light for a path to the off-grid potty, and so there's all sorts of stuff to go into that. So I've actually done a whole lot of research into off-grid, like hardcore homesteading lifestyle in order to be able to run the glamping business. And I definitely determined that it was not for me, that I'm a sissy wimp and I want hot long showers from an on-demand water heater, and I want lots of lotions and face creams, and I want to be able to vagabond here and cuddle little farm animals here, and I want it all. So I love this question though, because it's so much of what we've been struggling with the last year, like year and a half of family decisions, and I feel like we're finally at a good place where we've come to this middle path and we realize what works for us doesn't have to be an extreme lifestyle. It can be largely sustainable and wonderful and a great experience for us, but also with adventure. And that's been beautiful to come to that spot, because I think I was feeling very much like I had to pick the certain kind of lifestyle in the lifestyle for our family. This is what it's going to be. No other flexibility around that. And I was like, oh, that's really not very us. And I think it's because I had read and researched so much in the homesteading movement, which can definitely be hardcore into it. And then there's a lot of reasonable homesteaders that are like, well, no, I like to play with my plastic Ziploc baggies and use them. Yeah, oh man, sustainable, reusable Ziploc bags suck. I bought some last fall thinking, oh, I'll use these all the time. Even for dry goods, just trying to rinse out like cheese puff powder from them is impossible. Yeah, plastic Ziploc baggies. Maybe they can make like plastic Ziploc baggies out of coconut harvest fibers or something that's more biodegradable. I don't know, but I'm not giving those up yet. Tell me in the comments, what would you pick? Like, what's your ideal lifestyle? I know some people that absolutely do not want to garden. They don't want to have anything to do with that gardening idea. They want to live on the water in a little house and have a boat and have no responsibilities. And I know people that just want to have 20, 30 acres and have livestock and not deal with the world. And I think it's fabulous that we all exist in the world with all these different ideas. It shows you how diverse the American perspective of what that pursuit of happiness is. It's very distinctive. We are not one monolithic concept of what even is homesteading, right? That's something I've really dived into as I've realized, we're this very contemporary millennial version of homesteading where it is a bit more urban and it's a bit more still very integrated in modern society, but really wanting to, know where our food is coming from, knowing what's in it, and wanting that health of actually homegrown, homemade lifestyle in so many ways. I like that. I like that there's like a new version of that for me about. So that's my answer, which is not an answer maybe. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that's what works for me. I'm going to see you over on Patreon, because we are getting into our primal self-care, where we are connecting to our primal inner being and listening to that communication for the ultimate form of self-care, physical, emotional, mental, our home self-care, the whole holistic take on it. It's so much fun. I'm going to see you over on Patreon. Hey, thanks for commenting, liking. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Boop, 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 boop. Wait, it's probably down there. Wherever the subscribe button is, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.